Hmm. Namaste. Namaste, namaste, everybody. Namaste.
Namaste, Didi.
Yeah, namaste, Dr. Akhilesh Shukla ji and Shraddha. Bela ma'am, namaste. How are you, ma'am? आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है. हाँ.
हाँ नमस्ते.
Namaste, ma'am. How are you?
मैं ठीक हूँ.
Okay.
Next, sorry.
Yeah. So those who have joined in, and I know some people may not be able to. Okay, so Noko keeping the video off. Okay, so those who wish to keep the videos off can keep the videos off. But others, may I request to please put your videos on so that we can see you. And first of all, I wish to welcome Dr. Akhilesh Shukla ji, Shraddha, and everybody who is here in this meeting. So heartiest welcome, and now we will begin with the prayer. Sit comfortably. We will chant Omkar 3 times, followed by Prarthana. Inhale. 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 Inhale for Prarthana. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvi Navadhitamastu Ma Vitvishravahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gently open your eyes. So here, once again, Namaste and welcome to this Yoga Chaupal. This in the sense, we've been having many of the Yoga Chaupals. This is the 5th one, and the topic for this Yoga Chaupal is healthy ways of food intake. Last month we saw healthy ways of water intake. And may I tell you that I've been getting some reviews in the sense, what do you call, feedback, that people really admired this session. And some people told me that there were so many things that they were not aware. How to drink and how much to drink, when not to drink water. And I'm sure this session, which is on healthy ways of food intake, there will be many eye openers and maybe many eye closers. So before we hand over to Dr. Shukla ji, may I request Shraddha to very briefly, quickly tell about the activities and the right now what the courses are going on and all those things. Very quickly, Shraddha, please. Thank you. So we welcome Shraddha.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.
Namaste, everyone. Welcome to Nadalaya Presents Yoga-Caupāla. A few announcements. As you all know about the Sanskrit course that is going on Udemy, it is now also available on Nadalaya website. 2 days of Nada Yoga workshops are organized live online that helps the seekers to reach from Swara to Ishvara by using music. It gives us immense pleasure to announce that Nadalaya has successfully completed the level 1 of Yoga Darshan course and is starting the second batch of level 1 from Sunday at 5 p.m. Registrations for the same are on. Level 2 would start soon as the second batch of level 1 is completed. Srimad Bhagavad Gita chanting and understanding of the basic meaning is going on live on Saturdays at 4 p.m. Pre-recorded sessions on Indian knowledge traditions is soon going to be launched. Please stay tuned for that. To know more, please visit the Nadalaya website, or you can also find us on major social media platforms. I shall also share the details on the chat box soon. I welcome you all again, and over to Rajni ma'am.
So thank you, Shraddha. That was really quick, huh? So, okay. So thank you very much. Now, may I welcome once again Dr. Akhilesh Shukla ji. Let us call him Yogacharya, as well as Ayurvedacharya. So Dr. Shukla ji is currently working as an assistant professor at the Department of Ayurveda Samhita Siddhanta, All India Institute of Ayurveda, Goa. Dr. Akhilesh Shukla has completed his BA, MS, MD, PhD in Ayurveda and MSc in Yoga. And he and myself, and of course many more people, we all are studying Sanskrit, Paninian Sanskrit from our Pujya, Pratasmaraniya, Mataji, Pushpa Dikshit ji. So we are Guru Bhai Behan as well. That's an honor for me. Yeah. So we welcome you, Dr. Akhilesh Shukla ji. We welcome you here at the Yoga-Caupāla.
Thank you.
And over to you now.
Thank you so much, Didi.
Before Dr. Akhilesh begins, may I request few more people to please put the video on if possible, okay? And those who have not taken bath, please don't put your video.
Madam, I want to put, but I don't know. There is some problem in my tab that I'm not able to do it.
Okay.
I'm Lalita Srinivasan.
Okay, Lalita ji, no problem. Those who are not able to, that's okay.
I have been trying from that time. I don't know and now I'm afraid if I do something, I will lose this.
Okay, no, please don't do anything. It's okay. It's okay. All right. So Yogacharya Pankaj ji, namaste aapko. Yes.
And hello, one more question. Can we also ask any question in the end?
Of course. Yeah. I should have told that. Dr. Akhilesh ji is going to enlighten us on the healthy ways for eating. And then once his session in the sense, whatever he's talking, that is over, then we will be asking our questions. And yeah, we can ask anything related to the subject matter.
Okay. Thank you.
So, yeah. So thank you. And over to you, Dr. Shukla.
Didi, may I know the slide is visible clearly?
Yes, we can see the slide.
And voice is also, I hope, clear?
Yes, voice is also very clear.
Shrotum shakyate.
Dhanyavada. So, thank you so much, Rajni Didi and the whole Nadalaya team for giving me this wonderful opportunity to meet you all yogis in this online platform. So without taking much time, I will directly come to the topic. about the healthy ways of food intake or food for healthy living. World Health Organization says that 60% of our health depends upon the kind of food we consume. And in Ayurveda also it is mentioned that ahara sambhavam vastu rogascha ahara sambhavaha. So the healthy state of body depends upon the food we consume. And the manifestation of diseases are also related to the unwholesome food habits. So we'll go through in the detail in today's session about what are the healthy ways of food intake. Linus Pauling, who is the winner of 2 unshared Nobel Prizes, he quoted that optimum nutrition is the medicine of tomorrow. And this is the kind of change you will find in today's world, including in the medical world, that more and more people are moving towards the non-pharmacological approach to get rid of the problems. And they want to maintain their health without any dependency on the medicine. So that is why the Ayurveda, the yoga, and all the healthy living, that is all are in great demand. So when we talk about the food, what are the basic things we expect from our food? So our food should be nutritious, whatever is required for our body that it should fulfill. It should be digestible, then it should be excretable. And the fourth one is it should be compatible. The food may be nutritious. The 2 separate food may be nutritious, but when we combine them, both of these, that may not be compatible for our health. So compatibility of the food, that is also important. And for all those things, we should know about the quantity of the food, the sanskara. Sanskara means different kinds of methods, preparation methods for food, and the guidelines for the food consumption. So we need many nutrients for proper functioning of our body. For example, we need calcium, vitamin D, and other minerals to keep our bones strong. We need protein to keep our muscles agile and flexible. We need carbohydrate to produce energy, which helps in performing various kinds of functions. We need fiber in our food for cleansing and easy elimination of unwanted waste from our body in the form of defecation. We need many other micronutrients such as electrolytes, fats, irons, etc. for proper functioning of our body. The body performs plethora of functions, and for these several functions, we require several nutrients. But to have all those things, we should understand the principles of food intake. And we also should be aware of choosing the right kind of food for our health among varieties of food materials which are available to all of us. So like the whole grain, different cereals, corns, which grow in our region will have enough nutrients to cater our daily needs. And care should be taken to include as many varieties of grains and vegetables, fruits, which are possible to keep ourselves nourished completely. What is happening is at present, the vegetarian diet is limited to only few numbers of grains and few numbers of vegetables. The research says that the vegetarian diet is limited, the 95% of vegetable diet is limited only to the 30 ingredients. If I ask you how many grains you are using in your daily diet, you may be able to say some 10 or 15 grains, some varieties of rice, some varieties of pulses, or some other seeds, etc. Rajma, chana, all those things. What kind of vegetables you are using? So we may able to say some few numbers of vegetables. So overall, nearly 30 varieties of vegetarian diet we are consuming at present. But if you see the availability of these vegetables, the fruits and the grains, there are abundant. So we have to include varieties of these grains, vegetables, fruits to fulfill our nutritional need.
May I disturb?
Please.
I am not. Is your video on in some other name? I'm not able to see because I can see few people. Is your video on or not? Dr. Shukla ji.
Okay.
Hmm.
Now
Okay.
are you able to see?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Now yes.
जी, जी.
Thank you.
जी. So like legumes and pulses provides enough protein and vital nutrients for our tissue buildings. Protein, we say, are the building blocks of our body. So all the legumes, pulses, they have enough amount of proteins which is required for our body building. And we should include varieties of pulses and legumes which are grown in our nearby areas to have wholesome nutrition and get enough amount of protein which are required for our muscle growth and for our body building. Fresh fruits and vegetables which have lots of nutrients and enough amount of fibers. So these fresh vegetables, fruits, they are also the cleanser of our body. So the proper evacuation of our bowel movement, that is also because of the kind of fiber we are taking. So the fresh fruits, vegetables, they are the good source of fibers and they are helping in the cleansing of our body. Similarly, the spices, the Indian spices, they are not only adding flavor to our food, but they are also helping to have proper digestion and get all the nutrients which are present in our diet. And these spices, they enhance our digestive capacity and they provide a very good aroma and the taste to our food. So we require all those things to make our food wholesome for our health. So Indian traditions encourages us to use dairy products like the milk, curd, buttermilk, ghee, and various sweet items which are prepared from our milk. But we have to be careful that we should use the milk which is obtained from the A2 milk. That means the desi cow, the Indian bred cow, that milk. The A2 milk, which is obtained from the Indian bred cow, is the best milk for our consumption. But the A1 milk, which is coming from the hybrid animal, is often unhealthy and many times it is our health. So we should be careful and we should avoid taking this. Of these dairy industries, they are using so many hormones. They inject the hormones to have more or more milk from the animal. And actually, the milk which is obtained from these animals are also very harmful. And so only nowadays there are researches which shows that the early menarche in the females, that is also because of the girls. Now the menarche, previously the age of menarche was 13 years, 14 years. Now it has came down to the 8 years, 9 years. So that is because of they are consuming the milk, which is loaded with these harmful hormones. So we should be a bit careful when we are taking the milk, and we should be aware of the source of this milk. So here we will get a overall idea about the kind of food items and the kind of things we should consume. The non-vegetarian diet, consuming non-vegetarian food should be minimized or should be completely avoided, because our digestive system is not designed to properly metabolize this non-vegetarian food. If we see over the digestive system, it is suitable for the vegetarian food, vegetarian diet, not for the non-vegetarian diet. And the another thing is, if our physical activity is not enough or our digestive capacity is not good, consuming of these non-vegetarian food, that becomes a very harmful for our health, and it may have very negative consequences even in the long run for our health. So many of the chemicals and pesticides, we know that the agriculture now it is completely dependent upon the fertilizers, chemicals and pesticides. The time of the vegetable grows, from that time itself they start pouring so many pesticides, and they put a lot of fertilizers to have a very good crop. But these use of these chemicals and pesticides, they are linked to numerous health issues. Processed food, genetically modified food, and food to which artificial preservatives or other synthetic chemicals have been added, they are no longer good for our health, and they are no longer natural. They are loaded with all the artificial synthetic products. So our human physiology is preferring the natural food, so which is not much processed. So that kind of food is very good for our health, and that our body intelligence receives such kind of foods, and it is digested and assimilated very well. Whereas these all the food which are loaded with the artificial flavor enhancers or the pesticides, etc., they becomes very harmful for our body system. And we know that our human physiology is a reflection of the laws of this universe. So in Ayurveda, we say that Purushoyam Lok Samhita. So whatever things which are existing in outside nature, that all phenomena are existing in our body also. So when we are connected to our nature, we can make our health to a very good level, or we can achieve the optimum health status for our body. Similarly, using of these all so many artificial ingredients to our food, so that is very harmful, and we are seeing increasing production of genetically modified ingredients, synthetic ingredients in our food we consume. So a lot of the food items, if you go to the mall, you will find that so many things are genetically modified, and a lot of the things which we take in our daily routine, like the packaged food, preserved food, all those things, they all contain a lot of chemicals more than the nutrients or the natural products. So genetically modified food basically refers to the range of methods used to alter the genetic composition of a plant or animal, including like the traditional hybridization or breeding. So like we have the hybrid seeds. So that is also genetically modified one. And it is believed that the consumption of these genetically engineered food can cause that can become the cause of development of several diseases. So what happens, suppose a plant is there, many times this plant is attacked by so many diseases or so many insects. But the same insect or same kind of diseases is not affecting to another plant or another animal. So they take out that particular gene and they're linked with this plant gene. So many times the plant gene is altered with this animal genes also. And because we are the very evolved species, so we will not be able to know the very immediate effect of it. But in the long run, we may having, when the insect is not able to eat this plant, it may be having creating some kind of harmful for our system also. And many of the countries, they have strictly banned the genetically modified food, or they have cautioned the food providers that you have to specify that your food products contain some genetically modified food in this, or genetically modified food ingredients. And consuming of these genetically modified food is also the cause of resistance towards many of the antibiotics. So that is also proved by the researchers. So many flavor enhancers are added to our food, and these flavor enhancers, they are colorless, odorless, powder, which are very cheap and easy for the food manufacturer or the chef to mix it with our food items. Even the food which is completely stale or completely spoiled, if these flavor enhancers were added into the food, that food becomes very delicious for the taste, and it will be having a very good aroma also. So it is found that most common eatable like the chips, kurkure, biscuits, etc., what we are consuming in our daily routine, they all are packaged preserved food. And here, lot of many varieties of flavor enhancers are added. And these flavor enhancers, they are worked by the scientists so that they make the pupil addicted to particular kind of taste. So only the children and even the adult, they become addicted to that particular food. Even after consuming and filling the stomach, they still, their tongue is craving to have the same taste again and again. And many of the countries like the Australia, they have completely banned this flavor enhancers giving to the children. And like the New Zealand, America, they have also banned to provide this to the children, the food which contains flavor enhancer. But still, that though there are laws, though there are so many regulations, but still it is given to the children. And in India also, we find that even the schools, the children, they come with all the packets preserved food. The thing is, this is very cheap, and they will not get spoiled. So the children, they will like it also. So the parents, they are also providing these kind of items to the children, but they are extremely harmful for our health. So many researches are there. Food items which are loaded with all the flavor enhancers and preservatives, they are damaging for our brain and nervous system. All these flavor enhancers, they are highly addictive. And after eating these toxic chemicals, our taste buds are left craving more and more. We will not feel satisfied, and we will ask for more and more the same kind of taste, same kind of food items again and again. And the another problem is that gradually this addiction, that will become cause for the obesity and many other kinds of lifestyle disorders, including some brain damage, including our cardiac issues. So that all are linked with this, the food which we consume. And the harmful symptoms related with this flavor enhancers are like the migraine, asthma, fatigue, depression, insomnia, shakes, dehydration, brain fog, headache, nausea, dizziness, numbness, many of these, and many of the lifestyle disorders like the obesity, diabetes, hypertension, that all are linked with this kind of food consumption. But now the very sad part is, if a person, he is becoming diabetes after 40 or 50 years of age, we take it as a very normal thing. Everyone is diabetic now, you age 50 years, so if you are suffering with diabetes, there is nothing very unique about it. Or if you have the hypertension, and if you are forgetting the things after the age of 60 years, we take it a very normal incidence, and we say that, okay, now you raised this much, so this is very common. So this is the very sad part of our present world. So there are several reports keep coming about the health hazards due to use of these flavoring substances. And the United States Food and Drug Administration, they have warned, or they have removed the 6 flavoring substances, which includes these all synthetically derived benzophenone, ethyl acrylate, or the methyl myrcene, or fluagon. So actually it is difficult to pronounce also. And one of the very common ingredient which is used by the restaurant or the food industry is the monosodium glutamate, which we generally say as MSG, or it is also available in the market in the name of Chinese salt. So this monosodium glutamate is most commonly used flavor enhancers by our food processing industry, restaurant. And this monosodium glutamate or MSG or this Chinese salt, it has been proved to be toxic for both human and animal experiments. And it was found that the exposure to this MSG to these rats, that was damaging their hypothalamic nuclei. That means it was damaging for our brain, and which results in the increased body weight, fat deposition, increased motor activity, and secretions of the growth hormone, that all were affected because of consumption of this MSG or the monosodium glutamate. And actually, if you add to the stale food or the basi khana, if you add this little bit the monosodium glutamate, the same stale food will become very tasty for our taste buds. So many of these hotel industry, the curry, etc., what they prepare, they add little amount of this monosodium glutamate. So even if it is kept from, it is prepared long back, but when they will serve, the person will find it very tasty. So this is a this monosodium glutamate is tasteless. If it is added, it is difficult to identify unless they will reveal that they have added it. So we will not be able to understand whether my food contains this particular item or not, because no particular uh, color of this ingredient, monosodium glutamate. So what are the things we should include in our diet? So freshly cooked food and moderately cooked food, fiber-rich diet. We should include more and more grains, millets, pulses, fresh fruits, dry fruits, dairy products. Of course, it should be prepared from the A2 milk. And we know that we are what we eat and we eat what we are. So this is also true. What are the things we should avoid? So all kinds of processed food. So like the maida, the wheat we should take, but not the maida. Maida is highly processed food. The preserved food, all kind of the packaged food, the food which is available in the tins, which is available in the market, that all are loaded with the preservatives. So including nowadays the chapati, etc., that also came in the packets. They keep it, or the frozen things, that all are the preserved food. We should avoid it. Deep fried, etc., which are deeply fried, that we have to avoid. The reheated food and the food which is loaded with the spices, too spicy food, too oily food, the food which does not contain enough amount of fiber, we should avoid it, because it is not good for our digestive system. And the elimination of that food becomes very difficult. The body will not be able to eliminate this food item, which is not having the fiber. Then we should also be careful that we should not limit our vegetarian diet to only few numbers of ingredient or only one kind of pulses or few kinds of grains. We should include more and more kind of grains and vegetables in our diet. And we should be aware of the food items, the source of it. See, we only know when it comes to our plate. And when it is coming to our plate, the conscious people, they avoid something like, okay, this is very highly, this is loaded with some sugar, or this is deeply fried, so I will not take this. But actually the food, the story of your food, it starts long back from the time of it is grown to the field. Then it is packaged, then it is reaching to the market and coming to the shopping mall, and from where you take this food, then it is cooked. So there are a long story behind it. So we should be aware of the every step of the food, what is coming to our plate. Then only we will be having the proper control over our food. So if we know that the food where it is grown, it is loaded with the pesticides, loaded with the fertilizers, so it is better to avoid. So the best thing, the best solution of this is that we have to connect to our local farmers. So if we are connected to the farmers, we will be able to know what way the farmer is growing this. The another beauty of this is that he will get the proper price of his grains or his products. So he will be interested in even providing a very healthy, nutritious raw material for you. So the effect of food on our mind. So Bhagavad Gita has very clearly mentioned about the sattvic food, rajasic food, and tamasic food. So for the sattvic food, Bhagavad Gita in the 17th chapter, it is mentioned that Ayuh Sattvam Balam Arogyam Sukha Priti Vivardhanaha Rasya Snigdha Sthira Hridya Aharaha Sattvika Priyaha. So sattvic food, these food provide the energy that is necessary for our body, and it also favors a very superior state of our consciousness. So sattvic food are the fresh juice, light nourishing sweets, and flavorful. When sattvic nature increases in the mind, our mind becomes relaxed, but it will be yet focused. We will be very active, yet we will be peaceful. And our mind will be able to achieve the higher level of consciousness. So in general, the sattvic food includes the fresh fruit juices, the green vegetables, A2 milk, and the various milk products like the butter, ghee, all those things, buttermilk, all those. Then various kinds of cereals, various kinds of the dry fruits, and including the natural Indian spices, that all we can include in our sattvic diet. In the Rajasic diet, Bhagavad Gita explains that Katu Amla Lavadatyosha Tikshna Ruksha Vidahinaha Ahara Rajas Seshta Dukha Shok Ame Prada. So it will cause agony, Dukha, Shoka, grief. And Amaya Prada. Amaya Prada means this Rajasic diet is the cause of manifestation of several kind of diseases. So Rajas generally we say as the activity or restlessness. So these kind of food, they create excitement, and they are creating overactivity of our mind and body. And these Rajasic food are basically the bitter, sour, salty, pungent, or what we say as the very spicy, oily food that all comes under the food which is loaded with the various spices, maybe even the natural spices, but if it is more in number, that all comes under the Rajasic food. And when Rajasic food we are consuming, then it will becomes the cause of irritability. The person will be having the anger, restlessness, overactivity, or impulsive, and the pupil with very harmful for our health also. And then so including this some kind of stimulators like the tea, coffee, tobacco, the food which is having more spices, that all we can generally consider as the Rajasic food.
Dr. Akhilesh,
Sarasham, Puti Paryushitam Chayat. Generally all kinds of stale food, what we say as the basi khana, or the food which is prepared long back, that all comes under the tamasic food, and including all kinds of wines, that all are comes under the tamasic category of food. And this tamasic category of food, they will make you very lethargy, where they will create inertia. The person will go for the depression, and such kind of state will occur because of this tamasic food intake. So briefly here, like the sattva, it is responsible when we are consuming sattva, the sattva diet, sattva guna will increase, and it is responsible for the balanced state, harmony, positivity, peaceful state, clarity, lightness in our body, and the creativity, the openness and intelligence. Whereas the rajas, this will cause overactivity. The person will be having an excitement, passion, desire, agitation, anxiety, and restlessness of the mind and egoism. So these all are the rajasic mind. And the tamasic mind, that is inertia, inactivity, negativity, apathy, dullness, delusion, depression, ignorance. So these all are the coming under the tamasic category of mind. Another digestibility of food. Even if you are choosing the right kind of food, very nutritious diet, we are eating a very nutritious diet, but sometimes we may not be able to reap the benefits of the diet which we are consuming. And many times the people, they say that I am taking very nutritious diet, but still my health is not good. Still I am falling ill. So this is because we are not aware of the digestibility of our food. The food will provide you nutrition and all the required nutrients for your body when it is properly digested. And this digestibility of the food depends upon many factors. Like some foods are very natural, but they are heavy for the digestion, and it is very difficult for our system to get it to digest it and get the nutrients from it. And some of the food items, they are naturally very light for the digestion, and the person will be able to digest it very easily. So like suppose I will give one example, like we have the green gram and black gram, these two items. Suppose you are taking you are aware of its source, everything, and you are preparing this in a very good form. But actually the black gram is heavy for the digestion, whereas the green gram is very light for the digestion. So if your digestive capacity is not good, and if you are consuming this black gram or the udad, it will be very difficult for you to digest it. And the green gram, it is very light for the digestion, and it will also provide you enough amount of protein which is required for your. So like this, the digestibility of the food is also important, and generally we categorize based on our digestive capacity the food into the two groups. One is which are heavy for the digestion, the another is which are light for our digestion. So the digestive power of some people is very high, which makes any food digestible. Some of the people, those who are involved in physical activities, etc., their digestive capacity is very good. So they will be able to digest all the even heavy food also. But some of the people, those who are not involved in much physical activities, their lifestyle is such that they have the sitting job, so their digestive capacity will not be very good. So it is recommended that they should choose the food which is light for the digestion. And even there are our Indian food preparation system is very rich. And even the food which are heavy for the digestion, with some of the different preparation method, we can make it light for the digestion, and including if you are adding some kind of spices, etc., in that, so it becomes very light for the digestion. Like I will give you an example. Whenever we are preparing the vada, which is made up of this urad dal. So generally in vada, you will find one or two this black pepper, or they will add some of the spices when they are preparing this vada. So because this black gram is very heavy for the digestion, adding some of these spices will make it suitable for the digestion.
We cannot hear you, Dr. Akhilesh ji. Rashmi, can you hear? No. Okay.
So like this, making some
Dr. Akhilesh.
changes in our food
Dr.
preparation.
Even I'm
Akhilesh.
not able to hear.
Dr. Akhilesh, your this sound, your voice had gone for a while, and now he is gone. Okay, he will join back. Dr. Akhilesh, we lost you for almost 1 minute.
Oh, sorry.
And we
Okay.
can't see your slides now.
Okay. I will.
Excuse me, Dr. Akhilesh. Sorry for interrupting. Can you please repeat that something you were speaking about Meduvada?
Yes. 1 second. Didi, now is it visible?
Yes, we can see it
it's
here.
visible.
Yeah.
Visible.
What I was saying is simple food preparations, even the food items which are naturally heavy for the digestion, we can make it light for the digestion. So one simple example I gave is like the medu vada or the vada which is prepared from urad, black gram.
Yeah.
So generally when we are preparing this black gram vada, we add this little bit the black pepper in it. The black pepper seed you will find many a times within this medu vada. So that will make it little easy for the digestion. The another method is like the preparation of idli. So idli also contains this urad dal. So if we are roasting this the black pepper and then we are soaking and grinding it, so that makes the idli easily digestible. So there are these kind of simple methods we use to make even the heavy food light for our digestion, and that way we can get the maximum nutrients from this food. So food which are not easily digestible, such as pulses like the black gram or high fat or protein rich food. So these food items, they take more time to get digested, and the food items which are cold in nature, that also they takes a long time for the digestion. And food which is preserved, packed, that all are the food items which take very long time for digestion, heavy for the digestion. And the raw food is also difficult for the digestion. See, many people, they follow that they soak the this seeds, the green gram, mung, this horse gram, etc. They soak it and they consume it in the raw form. Suppose if they are they are not involved in enough physical activity, it becomes very difficult to digest this raw food. Many times the people, those who come and they complain of the indigestion, what they are doing is they are thinking that I am taking this sprouts, etc., and without boiling it. So it is, I am getting the whole nutrients and without harming any of the things. I am completely the whole thing I am taking. But actually the best thing is you boil it little bit. If you are boiling it, it becomes very easy for the digestion. Otherwise, it becomes the cause of indigestion. The people who are involved in enough physical activity, they will only be able to digest these raw food items, not the people who are doing this sitting job. So overly cooked food, that is also very difficult for the digestion. Then another group is light for the digestion. So food which we can digest easily. So the pulses like the green gram is very easy for the digestion. And freshly cooked food, the food which is still warm, that is easy for the digestion. See, the same rice which is prepared and warm, if you consume it, it is very easy for the digestion. Once it became cold, and then you are eating, it becomes very difficult for the digestion. Some simple preparation methods that makes the food easy for the digestion or heavy for the digestion. Like one simple example I will give you. The rice, when you are making it in the form of murmura, becomes very easy for the digestion. The same rice, if you are, suppose if you are making it flour and you are preparing chapati from this rice flour, what we say as the akki roti, or the roti which is prepared from the rice flour, this becomes heavy for the digestion. The same 100-gram rice, if you cook it and consume it warm, or you powder it and make the chapati, take this chapati, the flour made chapati becomes heavy for the digestion, whereas the food which is cooked and that rice will become easy for the digestion. And another simple example I will give you, like the rice which is prepared in the cooker, pressure cooker, that rice and the rice which is prepared in the open vessel, you take the same amount of rice and cook it in the pressure cooker and cook it in the open vessel, our traditional method of cooking the rice, where we add water and then we remove it the water. So that method of preparation, cooking it in the open vessel, same amount of rice, you just observe yourself, when it is cooked openly, it is very easy for the digestion. When you are cooking it in the pressure cooker, it becomes heavy for the digestion. So these simple methods that makes the food light or heavy for the digestion. And adding some of the natural spices, that also adds to our digestion. It makes the food, makes the food very tasty, gives very good aroma, and it makes easy for the digestion. So even after proper digestion of food, if there is a food material which is not excreted completely, we have seen about the nutritious food, we know about the digestibility of the food, now the excretability of food. So the food which is properly digested, if there is food material which is not excreted completely, it is accumulated in our intestine, often cause gaseous distension, and it produce toxins which can be detrimental for our health. So to avoid such problem, we should be careful while choosing our food ingredients. Being nutritious and digestible is not enough. The food should also contain enough amount of fibers. So when it is containing enough amount of fibers, it will be get excreted as easily. So it will go through whole, we have the very long intestine. So to pass through this intestine, if the food is having enough fiber, it will pass easily, and it will, our digestive system will be cleansed. Suppose if it is not having enough amount of fiber, so it will be stick to our intestines, and that later becomes the cause of so many diseases, gaseous distension, indigestion, sore belching, and many other problems. So nowadays people are eating highly processed and refined food. So like I told that the wheat, instead of wheat, now we shifted to the maida, which is really highly processed food. So these food items, they do not contain any amount of fiber, and they are very difficult for our system to excrete it. So such food items, they usually get stuck to the intestine, stays there and get decomposed, producing loads of toxins and toxic gases, low intake of water, not chewing the food properly, untimely and food intake, untimely sleep. These all are the other reasons for our difficulty in the bowel movement. So when we are consuming food, if we are physically active, so suppose if you are taking food having enough amount of fiber, everything, it is nutritious, it is digestible, having fibers also. But suppose if you are not physically active, then also it becomes difficult for it to go through our the digestive tract or the GI tract and get eliminated. So the proper timely sleep, involvement in proper physical activities, that all are important for the excretability of our food. So processed grains and their derivatives. So white grains and their products like the white rice, white bread, white pasta, maida, where there is no fiber, these food items, they tend to reduce the bowel movement. And fried or fast foods, eating large amount or frequent portions of fried or fast food may also increase the risk for the constipation. These food items, they tend to be high in fat and low in fibers. So they do not have any fiber, and the fiber is required to make the bulk of our stool or our bulk of our defecation. So a combination that can slow digestion. So the food is lacking the fiber, it will be difficult to digest and difficult to excrete. Fast food items, snacks like the chips, cookies, chocolates, ice creams, and many other products, so many these bakery items, all these food items. So these food items all, they do not have any fiber, and these food items, they stick to our intestine and they are the cause of so many health issues. And furthermore, like the fried and fast food tend to contain large amount of salt, which can lower the water content of our stool, drying it up and making it harder to push through the body. And too much of salt forces our body to suck up water from the intestine to help compensate for the extra salt in bloodstream, leading to constipation. The red meat, it contains no fiber and more amount of fat and so much spices, oils. This is added into this while cooking it. So that also slow down the movement of the food in the intestine, causing constipation. So this should be completely avoided. The alcohol, it is dehydrating. It can slow digestion and irritate the bowel movement. And it may create the worse, or it may create or worsen over the constipation, the caffeine. And if a person is dehydrated, the caffeine which is present in our coffee or black tea, cola, can make the constipation very worse. So there's all food items. They will food items and the drinks, they all will create difficulty in the bowel movement. The chocolate, the large amount of fat in chocolate can slow the digestion process. And this happens by slowing down muscles contractions. The peristaltic movement is there in our GI tract. So this peristaltic movement will help for the movement of the food which is consumed. After the digestion, the food has to move to the sigmoid colon, and then it has to go to the rectum, and through the anal canal it will be excreted. But these food items, they slow the peristaltic movement, and the food processing will be very delayed. The person will not be having a proper and clear bowel movement. So these are all things we have to completely avoid. All this, in short, if I have to say, I will say that the traditional and natural method of consuming food is the best way to avoid all kinds of health issues. So the food items which are fiber rich and easily excretable, so like all kinds of fruits, we can include in this, all kinds of vegetables, especially all the leafy vegetables, etc., that comes under this group. Nuts, seeds, whole grains, these all the naturally prepared and unprocessed food items, that all are having enough amount of fiber and they are very good. And when we are consuming this, there is no problem of having constipation. We will be having a very clear bowel movement every day. And these food items, they are cleanser. They will clean our GI tract, and the person will feel very energetic if he is consuming these kind of food items having enough amount of fiber in it. The important thing we need to know is the compatibility. So food can be nutritious, easily digestible and excretable, but sometimes are not compatible with each other. So like I told, the one separately, one food item is good for your health, but if you are adding it, mixing it with the another item, then it becomes incompatible and it will be harmful for your health. So when we mix two or more food items, those food must be compatible with each other. If they are not compatible with each other, they will be unwholesome and they will be cause for the manifestation of several diseases. So like the food which are having opposite property, sometimes we just to give the example like if you are consuming something which is sour in taste, suppose we are consuming this something which is amla rasa or the sour in taste, and you are consuming milk. So milk is separately very good, very nutritious, very healthy. But if you are mixing with something which is sour in taste and taking the milk, then it will become incompatible. So such kind of incompatibility we should be aware of. And similarly, suppose the person who is taking non-vegetarian and after non-vegetarian food, fish, etc., if he's consuming milk, so both the things are completely incompatible. So we should be aware of with what to combine and with what not to combine. So mostly the milkshakes, etc., that we say that not to take, because most of the fruits, they are having little bit sweet and sour taste. So combining fruits with the milk is not a correct way. Similarly, the honey and mixing it with the hot water, that is also makes it incompatible. The honey is very good for our health. Honey we can consume, but not to mix it with the hot water. Then cooked food and uncooked food. So many times what happens is we take lot of salads, etc., along with the rice. So this is also not very good because the rice is the cooked food and it has a very different digestive process. Whereas if we are taking lot of raw salads, taking too much of these leafy things and all this palak methi, etc., and green gram, all these things we are mixing and making salad and consuming this raw with the cooked. So this is incompatible. Then adding the cold and hot food. So many times I have observed in the restaurant that the people, they eat dosha with this very hot sambar, and one side they will keep the Coca-Cola bottle or very frizzed bottle, frizzed water, refrigerated water. So they will take either here very hot soup or sambar, rasam, and another side they will keep on drinking this Coca-Cola or the cold drinks or in refrigerated water. So this makes the things incompatible. So some of the incompatibility which is mentioned in our Ayurveda text is like the Desha Viruddha. So like consuming the food items which are dry in nature in a place where like the Rajasthan. So Rajasthan, if you observe the food culture, it is very rich in ghee, etc. It is having more of the snigdhahara, the oily things, or they take lot of ghee, oil, etc. But whereas if you go to the Kerala side and other South Indian, where they have the Marsi land or a lot of rains, sea area, there will find that they are taking more of these steamed cooked food items, idli, etc. they take, where there is no oil. So that is, if we are changing it, suppose if the person who is residing in the Kerala or this area where already there is a humidity, lot of rain, and he is consuming more of this ghee or such things, it becomes very difficult for him to digest. Similarly, if the person who is staying in the Rajasthan, if he is taking something which is dry in nature, it will create problem in him. Similarly, the Kala Viruddha. So incompatibility with the time. So in the cold season, we generally take the hot things, which are hot, like the hot soup, etc. And in the summer season, we take sharbat, etc. So if you are consuming sharbat in the cold season, it makes the incompatibility. Agni Viruddha, digestive capacity. Our digestive capacity is low, and we are taking food which is heavy for the digestion, that becomes incompatible. Then Matra also, we have to combine the food, like if we are mixing the honey and ghee in equal quantity, that makes it incompatible. But unequal quantity we can take, not in the equal quantity. Then the Satya Viruddha, the person may be habituated with one kind of diet. If suddenly he is shifting, suppose a person who is taking purely vegetarian diet, suddenly he is shifting and consuming non-vegetarian. So it makes incompatible. A person who is residing in Punjab area, suddenly he is shifting. Punjab area, they take chapati, their predominant diet is wheat dominant diet. Suddenly, if he's shifting to the rice dominant diet, it becomes difficult. This is the problem we are facing. Suppose suddenly a person is diagnosed with diabetes, and he is the whole from the childhood is eating rice. Suddenly he is shifting to the wheat. Now you stop taking rice, you have to take wheat dominant diet. This person find it very difficult and very difficult for digestion also. He will always complain that my stomach is upset, I am not able to digest, I have this problem, that problem. So the person who is whose body is wholesome for one kind of food item, sudden change makes it incompatible. So similarly, there is sanskara also, the food preparation methods. So the food which is overcooked,
I can't hear. Can Bela ma'am? You also can't hear, no?
which are having the
Uh,
different potency.
Dr. Akhilesh, we lost your voice when you were talking about sanskar viruddha. We lost your voice again. We can't hear you. Dr. Akhilesh, we lost your voice when you were talking about sanskar viruddha. You have to unmute yourself. And we cannot see your slides.
Okay, just I will again. Actually, this area where I'm staying, it is the proper mobile range is not available. It's little outskirt of the city.
Okay.
35 kilometers from the city. So
Okay. But yes, we can hear.
Connectivity.
We can hear you and we can see your slides.
Thank you. 1 minute, I will come to the presentation mode.
How much more time you will take, Dr. Akhilesh?
Just 10 minutes max.
Okay. Yes, this is very good.
Just 1 second. So now, is it clear? The slide is visible?
Yeah, it is visible. Yeah, but I think we were at previous slide.
This.
Yes, sanskara viruddha.
Yeah. So sanskar viruddha, like there are rules of preparing the food. So some, like for an example, we do not heat honey, or honey is not heated and cooked. So if we are heating it, that becomes the sanskar viruddha or wrong method of preparation. Similarly, the virya viruddha, we say that is the different potencies. One food is having the hot and the cold potency. Mixing these two kind of food items, that is also incompatible. That makes the food incompatible. So one such example is the fish and milk. So the fish is having the hot potency, the milk is having the cold potency. So if we are mixing it, so it becomes the cause of so many problems and make the food incompatible. Similarly, we have the cost viruddha, the nature of our gut. Some of the people's, their gut nature is such that it is highly absorbent. Some of the people, they have gut which is less absorbent. So the person whose gut is highly absorbent, if he is not consuming enough amount of water or consuming dry food items, so that makes it incompatible. And avastha viruddha, that means the state of health. So suppose a person who is taking heavy food items, oily items, or the food items with energy, and but he is not involved in physical activity, so that is making them incompatible. And similarly, the person who is involved in vigorous physical activity but he is not taking food which is required or which is nutritious, so that becomes difficult for this, that makes the food incompatible. Then the krama, there is a particular sequence of food intake. So if you are not following that sequence, so like when we have the urges of going to the defecation or urination, and that time we are consuming food, so that makes it incompatible. That food, that is not right way, or the not right sequence of consuming food. Then the parihara. So suppose if you are taking the food which is oily or doing this ghee, etc. So after that we have to take little bit warm water, not the cold water. So if you are not following this particular rule, so that comes under the parihara. So similarly, the pak viruddha, so the overcooked, burned food, very deeply fried food. So these all are the pak viruddha. The samyoga viruddha, like the milk, if you are mixing it with the sour things, that makes it incompatible. So like this, there are various types of incompatibility of the food. So we should be aware of this, like the milk is incompatible with the oils of fruits. Most of the fruits, they are having the sweet and sour taste. Sour are incompatible with the milk. And mixing the milk with the curd, that also makes it incompatible. And again, the melons are incompatible with the grains, starch, fried food items, cheese, etc. The starches are incompatible with the eggs, tea, milk, banana, etc. The honey is incompatible if it is added with the equal quantity of ghee. And the radish are incompatible with the milk. Many times when we take this onion, radish, all those things in our food, and after that, if you are consuming milk, so that makes it incompatible. So the quantity of the food. So quantity of the food depends upon our digestive capacity, our physical activity, the type of food which we are consuming. So if the food is light for digestion, we can take up to the satisfaction. If the food is heavy for the digestion, we have to take it half of our stomach capacity. And the time of consumption of food. So food should be consumed when we have the good appetite. So if we are taking that time, we can take the right quantity. Otherwise, if suppose we have some work where we are avoiding our food timing, or when we have the exact good appetite, we are going little prior or after that, so we have to take only less amount of food. Season also, like the summer season, we have our digestive capacity is completely low than the winter season. So that also we have to take care. Then the food items, the kind of food items, solid food items, liquid food items, that also we have to take, we have to consider quantity when we are consuming these. So I will go a little quickly. The another important thing is about the preparation and storage of our food. So the one important thing is always we should take freshly prepared food. Freshly prepared, that means when the food is prepared, preferably within an hour we have to take, or maximum to 3 hours, not beyond that. So whenever, whatever our food timing is there, we should not keep the food prepared very early and take the same food late in the after 3 or 4 hours. So that is not the correct way. And the food items we have to make compatible for our constitution. So like the people of Vata Prakriti, Pitta Prakriti, and Kapha Prakriti, so they have to consider their constitution, and accordingly they have to prepare the food. So like the Kapha Prakriti person, he can have a little more spices in the food, whereas the same spices will become very problematic for the Pitta person. The use of aluminum vessel should be avoided. Actually, aluminum vessel is known for the neurotoxicity, and almost all the countries, they have completely banned the use of aluminum products, aluminum vessels for the cooking or storage. So because the little amount of aluminum which is coming, into the food, our food items, that is one of the known cause of neurotoxicity and so many diseases which are prevailing in India, like Alzheimer's and the loss of memory in the uh, old age. So that is all related with the this kind of vessel we are using. One of the causes is this. So the aluminum foil, which is generally you will find in the sweet item, etc. Refrigerated food, that also we have to avoid whenever we are consuming it. So some of the basic rules of this food consumption that we will go through, we have to go back to our tradition. So avoiding aluminum vessels, we have to start using earthen vessel, or at least we can go for the traditional vessels like the stainless steel is one of the option which does not react with any kind of food, so that we can take. And actually the food items which are cooked in the earthen pot, that retain all its nutrients, whereas when we are using it, the pressure cooker or other ways of cooking it, microwave cooking, so only a very minimum amount of nutrients will have in that. It's for the stomach, but it is not providing enough nutrition to us. So microwave, actually it was discovered by the Russia, and Russia is the first country who banned microwave. But when they started banning the microwave, it was already reached to all the kitchens. So that is what happened. And many of the part of the world, it was already reached. But they found out, and there are research paper available, they say that microwave cooking is not healthy for our food. And actually the refrigeration. So refrigerant is essentially chlorofluorocarbon. And this chlorine, fluorine, and carbon, these all are the very deadly poisonous gases. So raw food items we can keep, like the vegetables, fruits, etc. we can keep, never cooked food items. So cooked food items we should not keep in our refrigeration. That all comes under the tamasic category of food items. So always we have to take freshly prepared warm food. And this, when we are consuming freshly prepared warm food, it is digested quickly and it protects us from many of the diseases. And it also helps to reduce the weight gain. So this is also important. The reheated food, so that also we should avoid. So reheating, most of the nutrients are lost. The only thing which will happen with the reheated food is your stomach will be filled. You may be feeling that I had food, but actually nothing is remaining in this reheated food. So restaurant, actually it is very clearly mentioned that we should avoid the food which is prepared for the business purpose. So already we discussed about the so many additives, so many flavor enhancers, monosodium glutamate, and many other preservatives which the food industry is using, and in the restaurant, etc. it is used heavily. So we have to avoid restaurant food. We have to take homemade food, or we have to find out some option where we can have very safe food items. So processed food items, we already discussed that it is heavily loaded with so many chemicals, flavor enhancers, etc. And actually it creates addiction similar to the like of drug addiction. We know some of the drugs like the cocaine, heroin, etc. Similar kind of impacts it will create in our brain. The person who is addicted to these food items, he wants that only. He will not feel satisfied unless he will have this Lays or Kurkure or these kind of food items. So the last we will see the 5 important safer food manuals, which is given by the WHO. So the one important thing is maintain a very good hygienic level at every step of food preparation. Then separate the raw and cooked food. So raw and cooked food should not be mixed together and consumed. Then cook thoroughly. We have to properly cook the food and keep food at safe temperature. So we have to, if it is required to keep it, we have to keep it in the safe temperature. Some of the food items, the Indian snacks, so that we prepare, that should be kept like some of the mixture, etc., what we prepare, laddu, all these snacks items, Indian snacks items, that we have to keep in a proper safe temperature, and use safe water and raw material. So we should know from where our raw material is coming. So then only we will be able to gain the maximum benefit of the food which we are consuming. So I will stop here. Actually, the topic is very big.
Yeah.
So it is difficult to explain everything within an hour. So most of the important things we already discussed. So if any of the participant would like to share something or would like to ask any questions, they are welcome.
Hello, can I ask?
You can just a minute. Yeah, that is what.
Ji, ji,
So first of all, I wish to thank you very, very much, Dr. Akhilesh Shukla ji,
ji.
for this wonderful session, absolutely wonderful session. And now, yes, anybody who wants to ask, please ask your doubts and
Sir,
questions.
can you share this presentation, sir? It's a very exhaustive and very detailed one, sir.
Shailesh ji, this video is going to be available on the YouTube, and you will be able to see it as many times as you like.
Okay,
So,
okay.
I don't know if you are already a member of this WhatsApp community that we have. I will
Yeah, I'm.
Okay. So the moment it is ready and it goes on YouTube, I put a message on the community, then you can see it again and again.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes. Somebody was asking.
Yeah, hello.
Yes.
First, thank you very much for this lovely information. What I would like to ask is actually my relative, she's a Parkinson patient, but she has this problem of acidity. The cause and the remedy. Can you suggest?
You are
Hello?
saying that your relative is having acidity.
Yeah, she's having acidity. Gets acidity quite often. What could be the reason behind it? And what is the Ayurvedic cure for the same? She's a Parkinson patient, but last year she had undergone this DBS surgery also. After that, of course, the movements have improved a lot, but the acidity problem is still there, though it has become little less.
Okay. So actually, one thing is about I need to know about the details of the routine he is following and the kind of food items he is taking.
Okay.
So directly recommending medicines may not be good. So I can suggest you some of the food items which will be suitable for him.
Okay.
So actually, Didi, you may share my number so I can go through the details of his routine and the kind of food items he is consuming, and I can make certain changes, so which will help to reduce this acidity.
Okay.
You may take my number and you can call me, no issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Namaste, ma'am. Priyanka here.
Ji.
No, you said that you will be telling some food items now, which can.
That once I will know what are the things, what is his routine. So accordingly, I will suggest what you can consume, what you can avoid.
Okay. Then from where can I get your number?
Rajni Didi may share, or 1 minute, I will share in the chat box, so you can contact me directly.
Okay. And one small question is, sometimes
please.
people they eat the food very late. Because of traveling or whatever it is. So after that, is there what should be done? One second, I'm writing your number.
So this is actually I will tell you about this.
586. 702 586 7.
Yeah, I shared my number 7025867672. This is my mobile number, so you can call me.
672. Okay, okay, thank you. Okay,
So
okay, thank
actually,
you, thank
suppose
you.
a person is traveling somewhere or he's uh, completely awake the whole night. So
Okay,
in such situation, what is recommended is first you should have a good rest without
okay,
having food.
okay,
In the case, suppose you are traveling to the whole night, not having the food, or so it is recommended that you may take proper rest. And once you wake up, then only you consume the food. And when you are consuming the food, the one important thing is never consume the food up to full of your satisfaction. You
okay,
should consume food only half of your satisfaction. So
okay,
suppose if you are feeling very satisfied eating 6 chapati, so limit it to the 3 chapati or 4 chapati. That is one rule. Another important rule is suppose if you are not able to take the food at your proper time because of the travel and other issues. So many a times what happen is we do not have the good appetite. Once
okay,
our time is passed, we do not feel a very good appetite. So that time you can have some of the fruit juices, etc. But do not go for a full course of meal. Suppose if you are traveling and your lunch time is 2 o'clock, but you are traveling up to 4 o'clock, and 4 o'clock you are going and having a full course of meal. That is not the right way. That time you can go for some of the fruit juices, etc. And in the night time, again, you can have a normal kind of meal. But once
okay,
your food time is passed and you do not have a very good proper appetite, better to avoid going for a full course of meal. Go for some simple food items, or you can go for some of the this like the upama, khichdi, or these kind of items which are easily digestible.
okay, okay,
Ji, ji.
okay, thank you so much.
Namaste, ma'am. Could I ask a question?
Please, please,
Yes,
please.
Priyanka. Yes, yes.
Yes. First of all, ma'am, it's great pleasure to attend such session to enhance knowledge. So thank you so much for such great platform. Sir, my question is that could you please share us something about water intake? I mean, should it be similar in every season? I mean, I'm really very little bit uh,
Mhm.
concerned about what should be water intake, and is it similar for every type of body? I mean, what should be its
Priyanka,
process?
Priyanka, last month we had an elaborate session on the correct ways of water intake. This video is available on YouTube, and let me share this here. I have shared the WhatsApp community link. Join that community. We keep giving all the information about what is the like this session. Once it is over, we are going to put it on YouTube.
Okay,
You
ma'am.
will be able to see that also. The last
ma'am.
month was water intake. Please see that
Okay.
whole 1.5 hour session.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, one more thing, sir. Does liquid diet replace the solid diet? Is it? I mean, is it possible that the liquid diet can replace solid diet?
No, 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 not like that. See, uh, generally during like this is summer season, so your body requires more fluid. So this is the right time you can have a more liquid diet. Okay, but some of the time your body does not require that amount of food, like in the winter season, you do not require much of liquid. So that time you can go for the normal kind of food items. And again, when your digestive capacity is not very good, it is better to go for the liquid or semi-solid diet. But when your digestive capacity is very good, then better you go for the normal kind of diet. What say the a traditional Indian meal, the full course of meal. When you have good appetite, you go for that.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Ji, ji, ji.
Hello. Can I ask one more question?
Ji, please.
See, some people are saying that curd is not as good as buttermilk.
Yeah, it's very, very nice topic. Actually, there are so many rules of curd intake.
Okay.
So few very important thing about the curd I will tell you. The curd should not be consumed in the night time. Avoid using curd in the night time.
Okay.
Another thing is whenever you are taking curd in the daytime, you prefer green gram soup or green gram dal with this.
Okay.
And when you are taking curd, do not mix the curd with the hot food items.
Oh,
Okay.
oh.
Curd should not be eaten and should not be mixed with the hot food items.
Okay. Okay.
Uh,
And buttermilk?
Buttermilk you can take in all the season, but buttermilk, when we say it is properly prepared buttermilk, not just adding little water in the curd and take, it is not the buttermilk. You have to churn the curd properly, take out the whole butter from this, then whatever is remaining, that is the buttermilk.
Okay.
And buttermilk you can have in all the seasons.
Okay.
Buttermilk,
Even
there is no
night
problem.
also.
Buttermilk is very good for health. You can have in all the season. But
Okay.
avoid using curd.
Okay. Night also.
Night also you can have a buttermilk. And you can add little bit spices in buttermilk, like we add little bit ginger, a little bit fried jeera with rock salt. So that will give a very beautiful flavor to your buttermilk.
Okay.
So that way you can have, no issue.
Okay. Dr. Akhilesh,
Ji.
food should be eaten before bath and not after. What is the reason?
See, after the bath, what happens is when you are consuming food, so most of our blood circulation that is concentrated towards our GI tract to have the proper digestion of the food. But when we are taking bath after the food, what happens is the blood circulation that is diverted and the food will not be properly digested properly. So even the breakfast should not be consumed before bath. After bath only we should consume breakfast, and you will find actually after bath you will feel little bit increased appetite. You will feel to have something.
Yes.
So actually this is the normal regimen that we go for bath and then only we go for the breakfast or lunch, not before that.
But suppose if you are having, see the lunch it is possible, but breakfast after having breakfast, after a gap of 1 hour also, can you have a bath?
No, actually what we recommend is, see, the food will be in your stomach at least for 2 to 3 hours.
Okay.
So better you start your routine little early. Actually, our daily routine should be started before the sunrise. If you are waking up before the sunrise, naturally you will feel a very good appetite at the 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. That time, if you are having breakfast, your appetite is also good, so no issue. And then again, you can have.
Okay. Thank you.
So with this, we come to the conclusion of this session. I wish to thank everybody. Everybody means all of those people who are here right now in this session. I wish to thank them. I want to thank Shraddha, Ankita, my friend, and I want to thank Dr. Akhilesh Shukla ji for this wonderful session. And once again, thank you very much, each and everybody. Same session will be conducted coming Friday, that is on the when is it? 12th of May, Friday, 5:30 p.m. Same session we will have in Hindi. So those who wish to repeat it are most welcome to join us again. So Dr. Shukla ji, Thank you very much. And everybody, thank you very much. We are going to chant Omkar 3 times, followed by Shanti 3 times. Sit comfortably. Inhale. Om. Inhale. Om. Inhale. Om. Inhale for Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gently open your eyes. Namaste and thank you. And see
Thank
you
you so much, Didi. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, sir.
next.